Fernando Sor left behind so much beautiful music. It's easy to underestimate the effect of the man. At that time, people just wouldn't have been aware how expressive the six-string guitar really was, and Sor showed this in all its colours. Pieces like the Andante Largo and the Sor Mozart variations, this study that you've just heard, they're absolutely exquisitely beautiful, and they show the kind of level of expressiveness you can get from that little wooden box. This piece was also my mum's favourite, so I've always been quite fond of it. I played it in school assembly when I was a little lad. Like all studies, there's a purpose behind the piece, and the purpose here is to play the melody, to make the melody stand out. And if you've got a good tune, then you have to protect the melody, and in this case, playing it very carefully with appaiando wherever possible, and making sure that the accompaniment, while still beautiful, is playing a supportive role. Let's look at the first couple of bars. Here's the preparatory work for your study. We're going to look at the key signature, which in this case is 2 sharp. So don't forget the second sharp. You've got an F sharp, then a C sharp. If you go up 1 step from the C sharp, it takes you to the note of D. So we're in the key of D here. Get your mind into the key of D. Your fingers are going to be working around all the related chords in that key. The time signature as well allows the tune to emerge as a dotted rhythm, and that's contained within the 4 beats. It's a simple time. That means 4 beats in the bar, and the lower number, the beats are quarter notes. It's very simple, so it's 1, 2, 3. And the dotted rhythm is dum, ding, dum, dum, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, da, dum. And Sor maintains this pretty much for the whole piece. So, of course, to play the melody really beautifully, you have to organise your right hand. You have to play appaiando wherever possible. It's not always possible because sometimes you shut off the strings underneath just by the very fact that the rest stroke goes on to the next string. But where you can, you make the tune stand out. Let's have a little look at the film, concentrating on my right hand. So you can see as I'm playing here that I'm playing appaiando whenever possible, because a lot of the time the accompaniment has to ring out, and the rest stroke can prevent this. Just see me occasionally not playing an appaiando stroke. But you can hear that I definitely have my mind and a well-trained finger on the tune at all times. So that's concentrating on the right hand and making the sound, but you should never underestimate the unsung hero in all of this, and that is the left hand. And the left hand, whichever finger is on the tune, that finger has a real responsibility. You need to fret cleanly, you need to hold the melody note down as if it really matters. The finger with the melody has a different responsibility. And I've marked in some fairly careful fingerings. You can do your own fingerings, of course, don't let me control everything, but just make sure that your priority is the tune. And now we're going to watch the piece once again all the way through. You'll be able to see both hands and the music scrolling underneath, and a bit of a voiceover as extra guidance. So the left-hand fingering here is all about making the tune sing. It allows you to make little inflections, slides, introduce vibrato, any trick you can pull to draw the ear to that melody. That change of tone there in the right hand, that's ponticello. My hand slid down towards the bridge just to draw the ear once again to the tune with a change of colour. There's lots of rubato as well, little rowels, little bits where I put the brakes on. And you can hear also bits where I let the piece run, where I let it run away slightly. That slide down the B string there, I think, is actually quite important. It fits the piece perfectly and it's wonderfully expressive. I hope Sor would have liked it. Once again, the ponticello for the D minor section. and a hint of a row to signal the return of the tune. If you look carefully, you can see my right hand fishing around for those appaiando notes. There's lots of movement. You have to move to bring out the tune, to play appaiando, and move the right hand also to produce a beautiful sound in the accompaniment. And then here another slide down the B string, as before, that beautiful falling interval. And for the minor section, the ponticello. Don't feel you have to follow all these expressive details, but make the piece as expressive as you can. All these hand shapes and fingerings and techniques are used because I've listened to the piece very, very carefully as I'm playing it. Try and do the same. Listen to the notes that you're playing and try and do justice to Sor's beautiful tune. So there's the piece. No particular difficult moments, just that melody which needs protection. Take the melody by the hand and make sure that it doesn't get trodden on by the other notes. And how wonderful to get your hands on something that beautiful all these years later. A study is to shape your hands and make you think about the shapes your body makes. So with that in mind, I'll see you again.